Hi guys! So today I want to talk about my very first therapy session and how that went a few years ago. I'm wearing a jacket right now because it's like 50 or 60 degrees and that's that's quite chilly for around here. Lately it's been like 70 and humid in the mornings, but today it's chilly. Like, it's fall. Yay. Anyway, I don't remember the exact date of my first therapy session, but I do remember it was in June or July of 2016? That sounds right. It was like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, it was the summer before my senior year because I had gone through the relationship with Elijah from November 8th of 2015 to April 28th, no, April 18th of 2016, and that's when my anorexia got real bad, and I was just not eating. It was bad. And that's whenever I lost the most weight, and my health really started to go down at that point. Yeah. My first therapy session was in a tiny room in Marion, Illinois, at Centerstone, which I still go to Centerstone, just a different location. And my therapist's name was Anne. She was a sweetheart. She had an autoimmune disease though, not like AIDS, even though that's what autoimmune disease would make in an acronym. She had like something else. I don't know the specifics. So about half the time I was supposed to see her, she was out sick because really low immune system, because she had a problem with it. And that's not her fault, and I'm not blaming anyone for that. I'm just saying it. I went to the office and I was wearing all black with a lot of my band bracelets on, and that's just how I dressed. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want any part of me to be seen. Like, if I could have, I would have worn a mask and gloves. That way, no one could see any part of me. I just wanted to be hidden and just disappear. I also wore the all black to kind of see what she would think, and also to express that, hey, I don't want to live like this. I can't go on living like this. Like, a year ago, before any of this happened, I would wear color. And then I just started buying all black clothes. and I started wearing band bracelets, and since my arms were as thin at the wrist as they were near the elbow, I could fit a lot of the rubber band bracelets on my arms. At one point, I had 30, 15 on each arm. Well, I'm not really doing good at telling you about the first therapy appointment. Okay. I remember my mom sat in the room with me because, you know, that's what my mom does, and she wanted to be there, but I was 16 and I had no voice for myself, and I just felt so shallow, and like I couldn't do anything about it without someone else. I felt very codependent on anyone that I met, but I didn't trust anyone that I met. And I didn't even trust myself afterwards. It was a really, really, really hard time in my life. And I'm glad I got therapy, because I don't know what would have happened if I didn't. My mom didn't know about any of my problems, really. She just knew that, yeah, like a few months ago, almost a year ago, one of her acquaintances that she grew up with and was in a club with, he killed himself. Even though they hadn't spoken for years, she was still really, really upset by it. And she knew, oh, well, her and her boyfriend of 5 months broke up. That's sad. That's hard for her. That was about all she knew. Of course, it being the first session, I didn't really talk about much of the emotional things. I just said, like, hi, I'm Stacy. What do you like to do, Stacy? I like to draw and listen to music. Okay. What do you like about drawing and listening to music? How I can express myself, I guess? I don't know. It's just something I do. And so she just asked me a bunch of questions like that. But whenever she did ask me questions like, so what made you want to come to therapy? I started to answer, and I was like, I've just been really, really bad. And then my mom started talking, and then she started talking about her problems and how her childhood was and how she felt about me being in therapy, and how she was in therapy a few years ago and it didn't work for her at all, and they tried medicine and it didn't work for her at all, and just all these things. And it's like, I wanted to say, Mom, my therapy session. But from the way I've been taught, that would have been rude and disrespectful to interrupt my mom, and it would have been selfish of me. And there are just so many things that I was told and convinced growing up that I lost my voice, and it's no wonder that I got into a really bad relationship, because that's kind of how it was with my parents. I didn't decide anything for myself, really. And I was looking for someone to help me decide things. Yeah. I remember the first time we left, I was so scared that someone was going to see me and recognize me. And then my whole perception of being perfect and not having problems. I know how to control my problems. I'm stable. I'm everything. I'm great. I'm good in the eyes of everyone else. I knew that perception would probably not last if someone saw me. And with the way people are, they like to gossip and yeah. Yeah. So luckily that didn't happen, and I didn't tell anyone I was in therapy for a long time. Like months. I didn't even tell my boyfriend I was in therapy until like 3 months after we were dating. Because the first therapist I was seeing transferred to a college to be a therapist there. And so I was without a therapist for like 6 weeks, and I was scared, and I was like really bad again. And I just didn't know what to do. And I was like, I need therapy. I need a therapist, Mom. So she got me back into therapy at the different location, which I'm still going to now. And I've learned a lot from this new therapist. Like, I've been with her for like 1.5 years almost. And her name is Evelyn, and she's very good. She's like my grandma's age, which is a little awkward, but she's really good at listening, and she comes up with some good ideas. And you know, she has like 60 years of life experience, whereas I only have like a third of that. Almost. And she's taught me to stand up for myself. At first, she just had me talk about things and word vomit all the time. And then we tried different things like EMDR, which is where you can associate an eye movement or a tapping on your body somewhere with relief from trauma. I hope that makes sense. Like, for me, I don't like being touched by anyone other than my boyfriend and my best friend, Amy. Like, that's it. I just don't like being touched. I feel violated. And my therapist has never touched me, so that's good that she's respecting my space. But for the EMDR, she would sit about 3 feet back from me in her chair and do a figure 8 like this. And I was supposed to follow her hand as I imagine the trauma as I'm on a train and I'm watching it pass by outside the window. But then I would usually start to dissociate, and you can't really get help if you're not in the right headspace, and when you're dissociated, you're basically nothing. EMDR didn't work very well for me. It's mainly just the talk therapy and the exposure therapy that help. And well, that shows here because I've gotten a lot better since I started making YouTube videos. This video is gonna take forever to load, and it's gonna upload for like 3 hours while I'm at work. But that's okay. I feel like this is an important message, and therapy is not as scary as it sounds. I would definitely recommend you going with a close friend or by yourself, because if you have anybody in your life like I have with my mom, the ones who only like to talk about themselves and they don't really listen to you, don't take them to therapy with you. It won't be your therapy session anymore. It'll be mostly theirs. Just saying. Yeah. Getting therapy was like a life-changing thing for me. I still feel like I'm in the worst spot of my life, but whenever I reflect on it, I'm doing really good compared to how I used to be doing. And I have to remind myself of the really, really awful times to appreciate where I am now. And yeah, I really didn't think this video would be that hard to make, but I'm like on the verge of crying, and I really don't want to do that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go before I actually do start crying. My therapist today canceled on me because she's sick or something, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun day. Yay, work. Okay, guys, bye.